Radical.
Welcome to part 2 of Radical Rapid Fire Comment Response for August 15th through August 21st, 2022. Short comments, quick replies. Surf Blue. I haven't played Watch Dogs, but I heard the first one's not that good, but the second one's better. I don't know. Well, I played the first one all the way through. I played the first one a lot. The second one I played a little bit of. I would say there's improvements in the world, meaning that there are animals. When the cops come to get you, they'll actually sick dogs on you, which is pretty interesting. I prefer the first one, though. I prefer the first one, but the second one might be overall better. You know, when it comes to graphics, I think most people, they crap on Watch Dogs because of the graphics. And the graphics aren't even that bad. In fact, the graphics are some of the most impressive on the 360. This game was on the 360. And for its time, it has some of the most impressive graphics on the consoles of 2014. But people, when they look back on Watch Dogs, they just basically look at the fact that Ubisoft lied when they presented the graphics. But as a game itself, it's very fun to play. I think it's one of those games people might look back on a little more fondly than when it actually came out. TG5455. Now, the Lakers have given a 2-year, $97.1 million contract extension to LeBron, and I don't know if it's a good idea. Well, they pretty much had to do it. They did, just to keep LeBron there. I mean, it's not the best basketball decision giving him that much money, because honestly, they should be starting to rebuild. They should be going into a rebuild, but that's not how the Lakers roll. They're getting a lot of money, and they're getting a lot of notoriety from having someone like LeBron James on your team to be able to say that LeBron James is on your team. But this guy's close to 40. He's still a great player, but it's a terrible decision going into their future to give that man that much money. To give him that much money when, like I said, they should be rebuilding. Now, if you look at that team, man, that is an all-star team, maybe in 2011. But it's just, I don't know, some people saying out there that they'll be better, drastically better. They might be a little better, but, I mean, come on. This team is not going to the finals. And, yeah. Vic Plaza. Hello, Rick. Check out the latest video from Eric Landon crying because Atlas didn't give him free game codes demanding apologies. I'd love to see your opinion. Well, I read that, and it doesn't seem like the kind of thing that would really interest me to talk about when there's so many other things to talk about here. I mean, you know, there's people that would find that interesting and would like to hear me talk about it, but I just don't find that to be very, very interesting. It's something that I've went over a lot before. In particular, YouTubers essentially, they feel entitled, and they feel entitled to game codes. I think when it comes to Eric Landon, maybe his strategy is to keep crying about it, and maybe they might give him some game codes. Eric Landon is the adult version of that kid I talked about on Flea Market Stories that was just going around going like, you know, can I have this one for free? Can I have that one for free? You know, Eric Landon was that kid. He was that kid. The furthest man from home. I've just watched as much of her video I could stomach, late decade. I put a comment up questioning her transparency with her audience. Got as far as her shouting down her being an actress. Okay, when it comes to her being an actress, I will say she's not that good of an actress. Some people might point to maybe she's not a real gamer girl, or she has a staff basically feeding her lines to say and whatnot. I will say she needs to brush up on her acting skills. That part in the upload where she's like, I don't have the money, or something like that. It's just not believable. It's not. And definitely, it is hilarious to think that this person doesn't have 500 pounds when you see her sipping wine and going on these vacations with her hubby. Yeah, she has the money. She's a terrible actress. Dumez. Tommy Tillerico. Tommy was paying himself according to their own CFO report. Wow. Yeah, that's the key point of a scam there, right there. The fact that they're taking in donations, money, whatever you call it, that's for Amico, and you're taking that money and you're putting it in your pocket. This whole thing was a scam when it comes to Amico, whether or not people would like to believe or admit it and everything. It was just a means for Tommy Tillerico and company to get money in their own pocket. And it seems to have worked because Amico ain't coming out. Forced something. Sorry, I got the arrow there. Forced something. Wood is one of the biggest idiot Nintendo shills I've ever seen. One time he complained about, I think it was the Nintendo Switch Mini. He hated a bunch of stuff about it and then immediately followed up with, you should buy it like a typical fan. Biggest joke channel I've ever seen since Spoonie. Yeah, I don't get how you're going to come out and you're going to say things about Nintendo. Yet at the end of the day, you're going to tell people they should buy the stuff. So it's like having you cake and eating it too, right? So you're going to come out and you're going to be critical of Nintendo, but you're going to still tell people to go buy it. The thing is, Woodhawker, whether or not he'd like to admit it to himself, he needs people buying Nintendo products to keep him relevant. If people stop buying Nintendo products, then guess what? Sad face. He loses relevancy. Red Strauss 97, I love my PS2 Slim. Got it for $20 around 2009. How the hell did you get a PS2 Slim for $20? That thing must have been hot. Must have been stolen, son. Could you imagine that right now? Getting a PS2 for $20 right now? The PS2 Slim in my local game store is going for about $80. Now, which one would you rather have? The Slim or the regular? What's the advantages and disadvantages for having each? Keith Floyd, drogs like Retro Rick and Phoenix Resale aren't helping the game's collectors that are sincere. You know he isn't even in Phoenix? Well, when it comes to that, there's an argument to be made that those people are not helping the sincere game collectors. In fact, Phoenix Resale, didn't he recently sell off a GameCube collection after it was his dream supposedly to have a GameCube collection and he wound up selling it off? Well, I mean, it's in his title, Resale. So when it comes to that, these people are going to lie about how dedicated they are to video games themselves. And I mean, just be honest. If you are someone that just is about reselling video games and that's all you care about, hey, just be honest. Now, when it comes to him not being in Phoenix, I didn't know that. I would assume if you name yourself Phoenix Resale, then you're reselling in Phoenix. Otherwise, why would you name yourself Phoenix Resale? Unless you just like the legendary bird, I'm not sure. Albert Menendez, Scamerico, Tommy Tillerico, is fake in every aspect of his professional career. The fact that he drove a Renault with a Countach body kit points to his fakeness. Okay, now this is a rabbit hole that I went down looking at fake replicas. A lot of these fake replicas are built on Fieros, which is kind of funny when you think about it, especially if you keep the same Fiero engine and whatnot. But there are some pretty damn good replicas out there. There are. Now, upon close inspection, you're going to be able to tell in most cases this is not a Ferrari, this is not a Lamborghini and whatnot. But there's some that actually are kind of close. So the question I ask myself is, how much would I pay for a replica Ferrari? You know, I mean, it seems absurd. Like, you would pay for a replica Ferrari? Well, I'm thinking like, okay, how fast can a replica go? Can I successfully actually, pass it off? And some people that maybe don't see Ferraris every day might believe it's a Ferrari. I'm instantly thinking, what are the trim acquisition applications? Like, if I spend $30,000 for a Ferrari replica, and maybe I go out of town where nobody knows me, and I have like a lot of cheap hookups because people, these girls think that I'm loaded enough to afford a Ferrari, take it to a nice hotel or something to continue the, it might be worth the investment.
Oi! Ah! Oi!